Hello, everyone. Hanging out with us on a Friday night. Not sure how many people are going to hang out. I sent a text to Alexis in case she can make it. She's probably well into having a good time out at Tap 40 and working because it's homecoming weekend. I'm going to see if people have an opportunity to get in here. There's Credence. And then I'll start talking. I wanted to go ahead and get it started. Don't know if Alexis is going to make it because we know she is working and it is homecoming weekend and that bar is probably hopping. Joan's here, Deb's here, Rachel's here. You guys are very loyal to the cause. And I know these are odd. The non-conference can be odd days of the week, odd tip times. Trina Ammons is at Tap 40 with Candace Parker. There you go. That's the way to spend a Friday night. Rachel's wearing her flannel pants. We're going to assume Rachel is not at Tap 40 if she's wearing her flannel pants, but you never know. I saw those online. Joan says, since the beginning. Good for you, Joan. Credence said, whoa, that was a nervy game. Yeah. Kathy said it was a good game. Yeah, agree with that too. I had written about this game pregame at some point last night. All my days blend together right now. But UCF is a tough team. Tough team. They are a tough defensive team. They full court pressure. They turn over the ball. That is how they win. They are a team that will beat teams. They will compete with teams. So I was talking to some people who, follow the sport pretty close, follow other teams, and said this will not be an easy game for Tennessee. And I know people get caught up, are you ranked or not, but that doesn't really matter. They said this is not going to be a easy game for Tennessee, and it was not. Leanne said, what a great night. Thank goodness for Burrell news and no ACL. That is very good because an ACL injury, as we all know, that's a 9-month rehab. We asked Kelly again about it after the post game tonight because they did a Zoom from Orlando, and Kelly said that she is still going under evaluation. They'll be there to support her through it. So I do not know exactly what it is, obviously, and Tennessee is not going to release that kind of detail if they completely know exactly what is going on. But she is out indefinitely. So I would not, expect Ray to be playing Monday. She is out indefinitely, and hopefully there will be more updates and more good news for her going forward. But the fact that her ACL is intact is very big. Now the knee is there's multiple ligaments in the knee. There's the way that if you look at the anatomy of a knee, I'm stunned that ever stays intact. The knee it's always puzzled me how the knee ever even works and stays together. It's just a bunch of, your thigh bone and then your two lower leg bones coming together and a bunch of ligaments going every which way around the kneecap. So they will have to keep evaluating her, keep treating her, and hope for the best. But for Ray's career going forward, whenever she can get back to basketball, the fact it's not an ACL is very good. Trish said, missed the game, so here to get caught up. It was, let's see, I think 40, 49, 41. Yes, 49, 41. Turnovers, 28 for Tennessee, 24 for UCF. Some were a little questionable, the nature of calling it a turnover. Apparently, Jordan Horston can travel with her arms. If you listen to the commentary, she gets hacked going in. The ball goes flying everywhere, and they call it travel on Jordan. I still do not understand that one. Jordan got tripped, and she fell with the ball. The ball is not in control of her, and the commentator was trying to say, well, that was a travel. I'm like, we actually have to have possession of the ball for it to be a travel. So it was when you have a team that is so defensively minded like UCF, you're going to have games like you saw tonight because they just – remember Rutgers, for those who have been around a while, remember watching Rutgers games? It's very similar. It just low scoring and a grind. The good news for Tennessee is that they led the whole way. I think they opened up. They had a 7-2 lead. Tess Darby hit her first three, so that was good for Tess. And UCF made a couple comebacks late, got within 4 late in the fourth quarter. They had the lead up to about 12 at one point, 12 or 14, and Tennessee held on and held them off and did it with their defense and their board play. They won the board battle, which is big. Somebody said that Kathy said the Horston technical is not clear either. She expressed, that is just, you see players shout after a block all the time. These early games, you just get the weirdest officiating, particularly with these non-conference games. I'm not saying it gets much better in the SEC, but Ray Burrell immediately tweeted, she was back home, of course. She did not make the trip, that would not be called in a men's game. And Ray is 100% correct. Linda said, what do you think about the technical on Horston? Linda, I had the game up on my phone. I was just like, how is that a technical? She had a big block and shouted about it. She wasn't taunting. She wasn't directed at anybody. It said Mickey. Mickey would have been right there courtside too, so he's probably just as flabbergasted. Brooke said, I just saw that Renaya Davis visited the locker room post game. How awesome! Yes, Tennessee's Twitter has a brief clip of Renaya coming in, getting a big hug from Kelly. Renaya, of course, is a Jacksonville, Florida native, so she was able to come over and watch the game and see the team. So that's always good. I know she would have liked to have seen Ray Burrell, but Ray is back home. So Valerie said, like what we're seeing out of Dye. No, I agree. Alexis Dye is she's a baller. She's a gamer. You get her in there and she's going to mix things up. She's going to get on the glass. She's going to work hard. That reverse she hit a reverse layup that was I think that was to open the third quarter. I believe it was after halftime. That was a beautiful play. Renee said that call was made by Eric Bruton, so that explains a lot. Yeah, I was driving home. I had a work event this evening, so I was listening to the first quarter on the radio, and I was listening to the pregame, and I heard the officials announce it. I'm like, oh Lord, it's going to be a long night. But that's part of it. That is just we could talk about officiating after every game. It's not going to change anything. We all know that's is part of what we got, and we're going to have to deal with it. Teams, fans, writers, everybody. And it's but back to the Horston technical. I was stunned. I came after the block. So I'm assuming it was connected to the block, but it may not have been. I don't know. It was just, and it was baffling. I don't understand it. I guess I should move on to something else. Somebody mentioned Brooklyn Miles. Yeah, Brooklyn Miles. Kelly mentioned her post game, and said, She forgot she's a freshman. She forgot she's not, she forgot she's a freshman point guard. She said, I look up one time and she's picking up the ball 94 feet. And then I look up again and she's leading the break on the offensive end. We talked to Jordan Horston too and Tess Darby. Jordan Horston said she told Brooklyn, you put pressure on the ball handler like that, you're going to play. You're going to play minutes. So she was someone that I heard was a player with some attitude in a good way, and she has certainly demonstrated that. I do want to point out we are 2 games into the season, and if you're on Twitter, if you're not on Twitter, don't join Twitter. It's just a cesspool of God knows I don't know what. People are insane on Twitter, but Tennessee 18 minutes into the season lost its senior forward, its preseason All-SEC team player in Ray Burrell, a player who was on every National Player of the Year watch list that you can have, and also somebody who was a leader on the court. Ray is one of those players that she's a senior. She's grown into that role. She's a key player. She's a key leader, and boom, she's gone. her points are gone, her rebounding is gone, her knowledge of the system is gone, and so Kelly's having to get freshmen and sophomores in the game that you wouldn't really want to get in the game this early, but you got to do it. So, I mean, we're 2 games in, and I just tell fans, give Tennessee time to adjust to this. You don't lose a key starter and a 4-year contributor like Ray Burrell and then just don't blink. I mean, that just doesn't happen, particularly when Ray Burrell is the only 4-year senior on that team. They have graduate transfers, and thank goodness. Alexis Dye, Kean Green, Jordan Walker, they are key players. But Ray Burrell none of this is new to her. She's been in the SEC 4 years. She's been around Tennessee for 4 years. She's had 2 head coaches, adjusted great to all of them. So just everybody sort of pump the brakes on. If you know anybody acting like that, just tell them pump the brakes. Give it time. It's November. We weren't even playing this time last year because of COVID. So Amanda said they don't care, Maria. It's toxic. It really is, Amanda. If I could go back and undo social media, I realize the good it does, but it is just an atmosphere that I don't think is good for anyone's mental health. And people are just not nice there. And then the odd thing is some of the most opinionated people are the ones that think the kids should be doing everything perfectly when I don't know. It's late. I'll get on a different subject. Kathy said it's early in the season, but I think Miles, oops, I lost your thing. That y'all are talking fast. Good for y'all. Early in the season, but I think Miles, what did I do with your comment, man? I'm going to keep looking for this. So many. Amanda said there's so many fouls not caught on UCF when Key and Horsham. Yeah, I mean, Key typically was getting absolutely clobbered in there, and that's going. There's Kathy's comment. It's early in the season, but I think Miles and Puckett's are going to be huge this season. I agree, Kathy, and that's why I'm saying it's 2 games in. Let's see how Miles and Puckett and the other freshmen can continue to develop as you get into December, January. I know people don't like. I mean, Kelly's going to use her bench. That is her coaching style. She's going to do it because she never knows when she needs those players. And I know sometimes people want a core number of people, but she is going to get minutes for people and get them in the game. Keith said, I wish the coaches would implement no social media during the season. Keith, I think you could, but I don't think you can enforce it. I mean, they're connected to the phones 24/7. I mean, even if you don't post, you're still going to see everything. I think that's unrealistic to think the kids are not going to be on it. It is also their primary means of communication with a lot of their friends. It is how they communicate. So and they're going to have to deal with it the rest of their lives. You don't get to escape it as an adult either. I think what players need to do is lock it down more, limit who can follow them. Don't let anyone send you messages you don't follow back. Mute people, block people if you need to. Just lock it down a little more as to how many people have access to you. PJ Porter said, I thought Key was going to swing on someone at any moment. Yeah, it is hard when you are just getting clobbered and you're not getting any calls. Yeah, I mean, Key is just absolutely, just battered in there, and she can't retaliate, or if she does, she's going to get the foul call. Kathy's parents still see it, and I realize that, and parents, they really need to lock theirs down too. They need to mute more people. They need to not let anyone DM them that they don't follow, because if you're not following back somebody, they cannot DM you. You can set your settings to that. Lock down your settings to where you can filter some of this, and do not hesitate to block people. I mean, if you mentioned me a bunch of crap about this team, I would block you. You're done. I don't have the patience for this. I'm not going to have the patience for this. I am not an adult babysitter of children who can't behave themselves on social media. And they act like children. And maybe they're drunk. Maybe they're lonely. I don't know. Behave. on social media, or don't mention me. I'm not looking for what you're posting. Go post what you want, but don't mention me with it. Cheryl said we took at least 3 charges, 2 for Green and 1 Walker. Yes, Cheryl, I agree. I actually asked Kelly about that. What is it about Kean Green in particular being able to take charges? Taking charges is no fun. It hurts. I'll just be honest. It hurts. You have got to hold your ground while a player is coming right at you and is going to flush and hit you in your upper body, and you are going to hit the floor. It is not fun. And as Kelly said, it's a selfless play. It is literally giving yourself up for the benefit of the team. So, Cheryl, I 100% agree. It is a skill, and it because you have got to know where your feet are. You've got to be able to anticipate what is coming at you. It also is a tremendous amount of heart, because you have got to be willing to literally be hit and knocked down to the floor to get the ball back for your team. So, taking a charge, it can wipe out a good play that gives the other team momentum. You get the ball back. It's Kelly said, the other team gets another foul. I know you never want to see Tennessee commit a charge, because man, it's a lost possession. It's a turnover. So Leanne said, going to be a great team for many years if these freshmen get this much playing time. No, I agree. What I do prefer, and we've talked about it before, is that freshmen don't have to start. They don't have to come in and contribute right away. They can be eased in and allowed to do so, because that sets freshmen up for sometimes too much pressure, and not that if you're having a bunch of freshmen having to do that, that means you don't have upperclassmen around them, and you want a veteran team. Tennessee took a huge blow to their veteran team with Ray getting hurt. And again, we do know it's not the ACL. Kelly said that before the game. She is still being evaluated and treated, and Kelly said she is out indefinitely. I know people always want more info, but this falls under medical information, and they're not going to release details about a player's injury. That we know what we need to know. It's not the ACL. They did provide that detail. The diagnosis is ongoing, evaluation's ongoing, treatment's ongoing, and they will be there to support Ray as she gets through it. So, and indefinitely can mean just about anything. It definitely could be a week. It could be a month. It could be 2 months. I don't know, but I'm just very, very happy for Ray that it's not her ACL. ACL injuries are just an absolute scourge on this game. Just so many that teams deal with. Every time I see one, I just like, even if I don't know the player or follow the team, I'm just sorry a player's going to have to go through that. Credence indefinitely means exactly that. They do not know how long she will be out. It does not have a start time or an end time. It will depend on what the knee injury is, how she responds, what needs to be done to fix it, all of those factors, none of which we know or will know. Whatever a player wants to say about their injury, they're allowed to say. Players, of course, they're allowed to reveal what they want to about anything going on with their lives that they want to, but the program, by policy across every sport, this isn't just basketball, will not do it. I've told people, if you've ever listened to a Josh Heupel presser where the media ask him about availability of players who are injured, it is a non-answer answer, and they try every week, and it's not going to change. So, and this is not just a Lady Vols thing. This is a policy-wide. And I certainly agree. When people say, well, Pat was open about it, or Pat talked about it, Pat coached in the infancy of social media. And now if a player's injured with social media, it just reverberates everywhere. There's a report here and here, people retweeting and liking and commenting and asking, and it's overwhelming. People forget these are college students, and they're not insulated with high contracts and security, and they're college students. They got to be walking around campus the next day. Nobody would really want their private medical details just cast out into the social media world. Denise said, have Ray's parents attended games regularly? Yes, they have. They have made the trip many times to Knoxville, to road games. They have been incredibly supportive of Ray, and Ray's parents were here Wednesday when the injury occurred and were able to get to their daughter, which is, I mean, that's good. If you're hurt, you want your mom and dad. You want a parent in there right away. Kim said, I think the extra playing time for Tess is going to pay huge dividends when we start SEC play. I agree. There's nothing like experience for any player. You have got to be able to make mistakes. If you make a mistake and immediately come out, that's okay, but you got to get back in. But if you can't just banish a player, and I'm not talking about Tess, I'm talking about any player, you can't just banish them to the bench. I mean, that just sinks a player's confidence. You got to give them chances. So and Kelly will use that bench, and Kelly will look at matchups. Sometimes people ask, well, why didn't so-and-so play? Sometimes Kelly's looking at specific matchups or combination that she likes. But I mean, the good news for a player that maybe didn't play a lot in this game is that Kelly could very well go to you the next game. So it makes everybody say that you've got to stay ready in Kelly's system, because you don't know when your name's going to be called. So you need to get ready. Tess did have 8. I think Jordan, let me call up that box score real quick. I've got it on my screen. Let's see. Jordan Horston had 14, finished the double-double with 11 rebounds. Tess had 8 points. Sarah Puckett had 8 points. Kean Green added 7. Jordan Walker had 3. She had a couple, I think she had a free throw late, and she had a big shot late when that one she banked off the glass when UCF was making that comeback against Tennessee. Alexis Dye had 5. I mean, Tennessee shooting percentage, obviously that number that they're gonna have to work on that. Some of that is they need to work on it, and some of that is that's what UCF does to teams. I don't think you're going to see many teams shoot well against UCF. They are very disruptive on defense. That is their style of play. Jones said 5 minutes after the injury, U2 posted that Ray tore ACL and had to take it down. Yeah, I mean, it was on. I saw it on Facebook pages, Twitter. I mean, we have a positive Lady Vol page that people know. This is a positive uplift the players page. And somebody came into a post today and said, well, I read that she tore her ACL. I mean, some people were declaring it was the ACL. Well, and obviously we learned tonight it is not the ACL. Will that stop these people next time? No, they don't care. We talked about selfless charges. These are selfish people. They don't care. So, two games in, and I'm already annoyed with social media. I'm not surprised. Denise said, how is our free throw percentage? It's like everybody made 1 of 2, Denise. I wanted to say, okay, guys, it's okay to make 2. You can make 2 free throws. That is allowed. 9 of 16, 56.3%. That's just got to get higher. Now, Sarah Puckett was 3 of 4. So that's good. There weren't many attempts taken because you got to get foul called. I mean, Tamari Key should have been on the line multiple times. Tamari Key was on the line exactly 0 times. She was fouled exactly 5 or 6 times. Key did have 6 rebounds. And let's see, assist. Horston had 3. Darby had 1. Dye had 2. Brooklyn Miles, let's see what they gave her 3. She had a couple of nice entry passes into the post. So it's Kelly has a mix of veterans and young players. And unfortunately, she lost a big veteran and now is having to shift more to relying on young players. The good news is that will pay off. And it's November. You've got a lot of time. Tennessee also, they opened this with 3 games in 6 days. That means you got very little practice time. They will come back. They got to fly home. They're going to get home late. They're going to do a light practice tomorrow. They got to get ready then Sunday with another, you got to do a scouting session at that point, get ready for USF. It's a lot of games when you are also relying on a lot of freshmen and sophomores at this point right now to help out. It is a lot of games and a lot of information being fed to players who are not ready for getting the detailed scouting reports that you get in college. I mean, and so a lot of players are processing a lot of information right now, and they'll learn from this. They'll get better from this. They'll understand. Okay, that game's over. Let's do it. Now we got to work on this scouting report. Cheryl Ford said that veteran squad takes advantage of the smallest opportunity with young players. There will be opportunities. They kept us out of sync, but no one quit on us. Lots of commitment in this team. Cheryl, you sound like you're channeling Kelly Harper. That is kind of exactly what she said, and Jordan, that we stayed together. We faced a lot of adversity, and we stayed together. And even after a turnover, they would go down and get a stop. It's when you get turnovers and the other team is just lighting you up. Points off turnovers was pretty even for both teams. So I think it turned out. I think UCF had maybe 4 more points off turnovers than Tennessee, but that becomes a wash. Kimberly says it's going to take a minute for them to get used to Ray not being in the lineup. Absolutely, Ray's been a fixture in the starting lineup for the players that are juniors and seniors. So that's a big that's a big blow to a team. Kathy said young players are skilled. They are skilled. They're basketball savvy. Brooklyn Miles, she was not someone that generated a lot of recruiting buzz. Could be because, out of Kentucky, other players ranked above her, but she may be the steal of that 2022 class. My goodness, that young lady can play. She doesn't get rattled either. And that's not something you teach. That seems like an innate thing. She does not get rattled. I mean, she had ball handlers coming after her on her trying to break that press with the ball, and she maintained control. She's a lot of fun to watch. Karen said Jordan is doing a lot of coaching on the floor. She is. She very much is. Both Jordans are absolutely vital to this team. And Kelly pointed out that Jordan Horston, this was her season debut. She didn't play because of the ankle in the Wednesday game. So, all the jitters in the first game and all that, other players got out on Wednesday. Jordan Horston had to get all that going today. And she acknowledged her turnovers after the game, said, I got to clean this up. She said her growth is that a year ago when she had that many turnovers, she'd go into a shell. It would get in her head. It would affect her play. She said her team did a great job of saying, next play, let's go. And Jordan, I mean, that is those kind of steps as a sophomore to a junior year are just huge steps for a team. Valerie said Miles reminds me of Massengale and what she showed us. Yes, I agree. She's going to be fun to watch. Anybody that can pick up the ball 94 feet, like Jordan told her, you are going to play. You're going to play in college. Leanne also said Miles is going to be special, and I think Cheryl said Miles' maturity is impressive. It really is when you consider she's 17 or 18 years. I guess she's probably 18 now, 18 years old, and was playing in high school this time a year ago. And this is also a young lady. I mentioned it before. Brooklyn Miles never met Kelly in person until she got to campus last June, or late May to start June summer school. She never got to meet Kelly in person. She took a visit here with her father, but it was COVID, and she did that in May of 2020. But it was a COVID year, so you couldn't meet with coaches. You couldn't see anything. The first time she saw Thompson Bowling Arena inside was when she enrolled here for summer. So that is how committed she was to Tennessee. I'm going to come there, even though I can't even take an official visit. I can't meet the team. I have to do all of this on Zoom. So she walked around campus with her dad, took pictures at Pat's statue, and committed just a few weeks after that. And what a pickup she's turned out to be. Now, I want to say Kaya Wynn is going to be a major factor at Tennessee, too. Right now, Kaya's an off guard. Miles is at point, and she's giving them what they need at point. Kaya is playing behind perimeter players who have a lot of experience, like Jordan Walker and Jordan Horston. But Kaya Wynn, don't sleep on her. This is Caroline Strickland. She's going to be a big-time contributor. Sarah Puckett, we're already seeing what she's able to do. She's another confident freshman calling for the ball. So it's all of these players, these young players are going to be needed. And so I agree with everything y'all are saying tonight. I guess I should have mentioned our Sponsors. I'm supposed to do that. See, I need Alexis here to help me out. I'll put them up real quick. Alexis Hornbuckle Basketball, which is kind of on pause right now because she is now Tap 40 Grill all day, all the time. Tap 40 Grill is apparently where a lot of people are at tonight, having a big time, because she is not answering my text. So she's probably busy or having fun or both. Obviously, also Collective Unfiltered. That's the Monday show. Gold Standard, Jamel Johnson. Just Pass It Tutoring. If you're on social media, you would have seen, speaking of Orange Mountain Designs, our other sponsor, that Jamel Johnson and Alexis Hornbuckle were in the store today to go see Terry and get some clothing. Jamel is up from Atlanta for homecoming. So there are a lot of Lady Vol for Life and Vol for Life former players all over the city of Knoxville right now, going to various places. And then, of course, Candace Parker was the parade grand marshal. So that was earlier today. The football game tomorrow, I know it's a challenge, but that's why we watch sports. And if Tennessee could somehow pull that off, what an upset, amazing game that would be. So it'll be a fun game to watch, I hope. Denise said, I wish I could get to Vegas. Yes, I mean, for Ray's sake, you just really hope that could be something that she can at least participate. I don't know. That's only, what are we, 2 weeks away? How are we 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving already? Creedon said OMD has two new shirts. Yes, there are new shirts. I don't have them uploaded. Tamari Key and Alexis Jordan Horston have new shirts in stock. Key is like got her arms all the way across the shirt with it's a really interesting little it's a caricature of her, I think. Yeah, it's really kind of cool looking. When we do our next show, I'll be sure to get those uploads so you can see them. And then Jordan caution sign. Jordan's got one of the official caution sign T-shirts with her name on it. So let's see. Cheryl Ford said Caroline and Sarah are gonna be beasts down low. They just need a little time, but they are mentally and physically right for it. Now, I agree, because you've got to get used to the contact that is allowed. And we hadn't even gotten into the Texas and the Stanford and the SEC, the contact that's allowed down low. It is tough. It is tough for a freshman to deal with that kind of physicality that you see in college, particularly if you play in the paint. Kathy said, Candace, do you think she spent time with Ray? I don't know yet. Candace is going to be around the team tomorrow when they get back from Orlando. So if she hasn't, she will, because the team is going to be able to do some stuff with Candace tomorrow when they're gathered again. They just got to get them home, get them on that flight, and get them home. So, and then Candace, I think Candace is here for the game and maybe having to get out Sunday. I don't know. She'll have to get back home. But it's always obviously good to have Candace in town and repping the Lady Vols and all the former Lady Vols that are in town. It's good to see them come home. When they say family, Lady Vol for life, they really are not kidding. It really is here. Well, it is late. It's 9:30. I want to make sure Alexis wasn't going to make it. She had said she would try to pop in. Trina, you can go tell everybody that we said hi. Y'all go hang out, have some good beverages, some good food, and enjoy hanging out at Tap 40 Grill in Powell. And Kathy will be here for the Texas game. Good. That's goodness. That's a week from Sunday. Boy, these things come rolling fast. Creed said, any recruiting news? No, there's not. I wouldn't expect any anytime soon right now. I mean, the 2022s are signing at various schools, and then the next signing period, if you don't sign early, and the early signing period ends Wednesday, the 17th. This coming Wednesday is the last day. You do not sign again until April. There's a month-long period, mid-April to mid-May. So I think things are going to be kind of quiet on the recruiting front for a little bit. But I always say the only consistent thing I've ever noticed about recruiting is it does and will change. So I have always got one eye on it. I know there was a big-time 2024 player who was here on an unofficial visit and would put up some. I think that was Joyce Edwards, I believe. She was in town. So Justine Passat is signed, sealed. She's ready to come. She will be here she can enroll for summer school in 2022, and she will be ready to roll. So thanks everyone for coming. I had better put up a quick take story, but I better do a full story and go transcribe these Zoom interviews that we get to do. The one thing about the COVID pandemic is that it forced media coverage into Zoom, and that is perfect for the road because now local media can Zoom in and get Kelly when they're on the road, which we can't usually do, of course, because it was all in-person media, even on the road. So it's one benefit I have seen from all of this. You guys have a great night. Have a good weekend. And I will be back here with y'all Monday night because USF ranked team, I think they're 22nd, 21st. They're both polls are right in the 21, 22. I'm not sure which way it goes. It may be 22 AP, 21 coaches, ranked top 25 team. Definitely going to be an NCAA tournament team. So will be another good test. You guys are always great. Have a good night. And I will see you in a few days. Peace as always.